Ohayou gozaimasu, konnichiwa, konbanwa, for whenever you're listening to the Joshi Pod, your weekly podcast about the world of Japanese women's wrestling. Joshi Wrestling, I'm your host, Eric Howard, coming to you from beautiful San Diego, California, and I was watching my Twitter to see what would happen with Jungle and Mayu. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. As a lifelong San Diego sports fan, I can totally relate. Jungle Kyona did not win the title. Mayu retained in Nagoya. So I was waiting to record this until the miracle happened that Jungle would actually win the title, but it in fact did not happen, so I could have recorded hours ago and had this out hours ago. But no, it's almost 11 o'clock in California on Thursday night. So, boo. The fans wanted Jungle to win with my little non-scientific Twitter poll. I wanted her to win too, but Mayu is the face of the franchise. She is the one and the only top dog in Stardom right now. So Mayu wins. This is your opening. I also watched ChocoPro tonight, where Mitsuru Kono defeated Yuna Mizumori in their grudge match. Not grudge match, but just the King of the Hill, top dog of ChocoPro, of Ichigaya. And it was a wonderful match. Those two are really good. I think some people scoff at Ichigaya and ChocoPro because they don't wrestle in a ring. But those two beat the snot out of each other and had a really good match. And so ChocoPro, watch it whenever you get a chance. And then I will be watching the Stardom whenever it comes out. Still blows my mind they're not live. Really blows my mind that they're not live on their streaming service, but it is what it is. Tokyo Joshi Pro had a good show too as well. Their champions retained as well. So champions are keeping their belts all over the place. And now Stardom has the big finals with Julia and Tam coming up here for the title. So that's it for the opening this week. And, buried the lead. This week, with our big main event interview, we have Alexis Lee from Singapore. She's the first in the future Joshi Stars series I'm going to put on here on the Joshi Pod, where they haven't quite made it to Japan yet, but they have aspirations to go to Japan. They've had some interactions and matches with Japanese wrestlers. So, yeah, Alexis Lee, Singapore's finest, the pride of Singapore. It's a fun conversation. She's a hoot. She's pretty funny. And we have a lot of fun, talk about wrestling and all kinds of other stuff. So stick around, listen to Alexis Lee. But again, Mayu is your Stardom champion, and we will go from there. All right, guys, before we get to that big minute of interview with Alexis Lee, I do want to thank you for downloading, listening to the Joshi Pod. If you could, please rate, subscribe, review, all that kind of good stuff. And it really helps the algorithm to get us on the search lists. Also, follow me on Twitter at the Joshi Pod. You can follow me personally, too, at Eric San Diego. But again, thank you guys so much for downloading and listening to this. And enjoy the conversation with Alexis Lee. She's awesome. She's very funny. And she's a very talented wrestler, too. Check her out on YouTube. And we'll see you guys next week with On Shamu. Arigatou gozaimasu. I got this feeling on the summer day when you were gone. All right, guys. Back here again with a big interview this week. Alexis Lee, the Lion City hit girl, Singapore's finest. Joshi wrestling is not just about wrestling in Japan. It's a worldwide phenomenon. We have many wrestlers in WWE that were Joshi wrestlers. There's many wrestlers all across the country, and Singapore is no different. The Philippines is a pretty decent wrestling scene right now as well. But today we're going to talk about Singapore. We're going to talk again about the Lion City hit girl. Thank you for joining us on the show, Alexis Lee.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So my father was in the Navy for 32 years, and he's seen just about anywhere in the world. And the one thing he told me about Singapore was that it's the cleanest city he's ever seen, or the cleanest place he's ever been in his life. Is that true?
Yeah. We have a lot of people working the streets to make sure that it's clean. a lot of
It's
things are illegal, including like bubblegum. So it helps.
See, I thought that was an old like story he told me about bubblegum, but I guess it's true.
It is. As a kid, we actually go to Malaysia and like just to get some. It's so easy just go across Malaysia. And like every time we go to Malaysia, it's a must-have item. It's the weirdest thing, just for us Singaporeans, because it's so illegal here.
You like go home and chew it, and like, and you like you go like lock yourself in your room and chew your gum.
Yeah, we would be like, in the hotel rooms, like we'll be like begging our parents to get us some chewing gum, bubble gum, and they'll be like, no, like you don't need that shit. You need to eat actual food. We're like, but this is illegal. Like we need to have it. We're here in Malaysia. We need bubble gum. Yeah.
It's like people here like sneaking a drink of beer or something. You're sneaking a piece of bubble gum.
Yeah. And then we will kind of bring some back illegally and like kind of pass to our friends. So it's like a little illegal chewing gum trading scene as a kid.
So, like at the airports, they scan for weapons and bubble gum.
I guess so.
Well, we have more important things to talk about than bubble gum. But so, tell us about what the wrestling scene is like in Singapore.
So I've been wrestling with SPW Singapore Pro Wrestling for the past 7 years. The company started 8 years ago, and I was kind of like one of the pioneer batches. I actually joined them about a year after they started when they had like this unofficial show. So that was when I first heard about SPW. Then I joined shortly, and we've had our first show in my first year on August of that year, which was about 2013. And since then, we've had a lot of international guests walk through our doors. We've had a lot of like changes in our shows from like we started out from what 50 people and we've grown up to like the Kenny Omega show. I think we had over 600 people, so
Wow.
that was like amazing. And like the wrestling scene, it's not just in Singapore. In the whole Southeast Asia, it has actually grown since 8 years. Yeah, it's amazing.
What wrestling did people watch on TV in Singapore?
I would say it's mostly WWE. I mean, it was on TV in the past. Now it's on like those extra channels that you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of fans, I realized they actually watch a lot of like Japanese wrestling, like especially New Japan is really popular. Stardom too. We've actually New Japan come down to Singapore once to do like this house show sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. Like Evo won a title. I can't remember which title. But yeah,
So, what
awesome.
what inspired you to like go from like watching it to wanting to do it?
It's kind of funny because when I started watching wrestling, it was mainly kind of like my escape from reality because I was being bullied in school. So
Mm.
it's not like the usual wrestling fans who kind of like watch it with their parents as a kid, that sort of thing. And like wrestling just provided the escape from reality, and I just kind of figured like what a better way to kind of change the world or kind of help to make things better place than if I did something that I really like and at the same time I could kind of put some weight behind my name that people would actually listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of like started the ball rolling on like, oh, what if I became a pro wrestler? Like, people kind of hear my story. Some will get motivated, some will get inspired, who knows? And yeah, it's been crazy since then. I've managed to travel the world. I've done what I liked, and like there's people always coming up to me, kind of like telling me like, this was inspiring and that it's just the best.
That's awesome. So, okay, so I'm gonna show my ignorance here a little bit about Singapore. So,
I know it's fine.
it you know how like gender roles people have, like women should do this, men should do this.
Uh-huh.
In Singapore, a woman being a wrestler, how is that viewed?
Oh, my parents were really against it for like the longest time. I mean,
Mm.
they are still against it now. It's just that they've kind of like given up on trying to get me to quit wrestling. Occasionally, I get the nagging, I get the nag from them to be like, oh, you should get a proper job. You should stop this crazy dream, blah blah blah. But yeah, it's been crazy. But a lot of people are really accepting at the same time. It's like we actually did this video a few years back. That there was this really popular YouTube video where this guy threw his girlfriend into the swimming pool, like
Mm-hmm.
wrestling, and like Paul Heyman did a follow up video with him with Medusa.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually did our version of it, and it was like the roster of the SPW guys just throwing me into the swimming pool, and there was so much hate from it. They got so many people like coming after us. It was insanity. Like it was people just kind of going after the guys, be like, "How dare you guys do this to a girl?" And then there was so many like aunties and uncles also coming after me, be like, "How are you allowing this to happen? Why are you doing this? Like you're just like throwing it back into the faces of women everywhere, kind of like taking things back, like God knows when." So it just kind of showed that how we haven't really moved on from the past on like what women can really do, even though it's the 21st century.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So it's just very traditional over there. A lot of places are still like
it
that.
especially in Asia, I think, because we're like really based on the cultures and traditions of the past. It is really traditional, yeah.
So the tradition of having a family, kids, things like that, versus traveling the world and being a wrestler.
Yeah, it's kind of like you have to be realistic. Gotta like keep your head down. Don't think about shooting for the stars. You got to make sure that you understand like chasing a dream is not easy, which I think we all do understand that. But they just want me to have a normal life
Okay.
instead of being involved in all this craziness.
It's boring sometimes to have a normal life.
It is. But
Now,
it's like sometimes I do wish I had a bit of a normal life, but at the same time it's like when I think back about all the awesome shit I have from wrestling, I'm like, screw that.
you're still very young. You got a lot of time to still do other stuff.
Maybe not in Asian timing.
So
Like I move
how how
different.
is how is training for you to become a wrestler? Who trained you? How are you trained? Is it what you expected?
Uh, I I was trained by Vadim, who actually started up this other promotion in Russia, the IWF. So he had prior training, I think in Canada. I'm not so sure. And Andrew Tang, Singapore's first pro wrestler. Like the both of them trained me. It was crazy intense, and it was a journey because I was the first female and I had to train with the guys for like 2-3 years.
Did they treat you any different because you were a girl?
Oh no, they don't. It's just that I have to kind of like keep up with them because they pick things up ever so quickly. It's like, especially some of those guys, they actually have like a year of experience prior to me joining. It's kind of like everyone's just kind of at the start. It's like we all want to do our absolute best, so we're kind of like pushing ourselves and competing with each other to kind of like get to the top of our very low part of the ladder.
Did they have a ring, or were you was training on the mat?
Oh, we have a ring. We started off even like in our first year we have a ring. We just changed our location of training like quite a bit.
Where'd the ring come from?
I think they actually like because Vadim does own like IWF in Russia, so he has like all these dimensions and all that for the ring and like things that we need for the ring, like the ropes, the turnbuckles, and all that. So when they started out, they actually invested a lot of money to get like uh those parts like custom made, and then we
Hmm.
set up the ring and all that.
That's interesting. I always
And
wonder,
then
when
ring.
these countries that are like just where the wrestling business is starting, how they get a ring and where they find a ring. I guess you get blueprints and you build it, right?
Yeah,
So talk about your.
actually
Go ahead.
thinking about it. So it's like there are some other promotions, I guess, who can't actually find like a place to set up a ring to actually be able to do training like all the time using a ring. Like Hong Kong wrestling, when they do their training, it's like on a mat. It's not in like a wrestling ring. So it is really kind of interesting to kind of see how like different countries and different proportions work. You know.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about Gato Move in a little bit, but yeah, I mean, you can just see now from ChocoPro how they're completely different than a lot of other things, and they do they do everything on a mat pretty much.
Yeah, it's awesome the way they kind of work
Yeah.
around like the limitations.
Have you ever jumped out of a window seal before?
No, but I did underground wrestling in Austria. It was also kind of like net wrestling. It was interesting too.
All right, so talk about your early career. What was it like to get started to actually have matches versus just training?
Oh, my first match it was insane because yeah, I was the only girl. So my first match was a four-way match, and I was barely involved in the match actually. Because we were also kind of afraid of like how the public would react to me, like being the only girl in the roster, fighting with three other guys. So we were kind of like, okay, I should not get hit so much because the people are gonna hate it. But at the same time, I need to get hit so I could get up the ring. And it was kind of a whirlwind of emotions. I remember I wanted to kind of like hide somewhere before my match and not go up for my match. But I was like, okay, I've worked so hard. We've all worked so hard for this first ever show. I just gotta like get up and like just do my shit. And I did, and it was amazing. But actually, my first couple years, like first 3 years, I barely got to wrestle since there's like no other women in the roster, and it's not that nice to kind of wrestle the guys because of like a bit of the ego and how people perceive us. Mainly, it's like the public's perception of like girls versus guys, like intergender matches. So that was why I barely wrestled, and yeah, I actually had like what 4 or 5 matches in my first 3 years in total.
Wow. So
That
what
was really so.
what did the crowd think when you were out there as a woman wrestling the guys?
Oh, they love it. Actually, only had like 2 intergender matches, no wait, 3 intergender matches in Singapore, and the crowd was like always behind me. So
Seems like the
I
perfect
guess,
babyface experience. Yeah.
yeah, it's the easiest babyface experience. You just
Yeah.
go out there, get your butt handed to you a little bit, and like the crowd just like boos the shit out of the hill. And then you just do a comeback and they're like cheering the shit out of you and you're like, yay! This is so easy. Thank you.
So when did you take the next step as far as like wrestling women more frequently?
Oh, my first female opponent was actually not from Singapore. I wrestled Savannah Summers from Adelaide, Australia. It was really awesome because she took care of me in that whole match. She took care of me actually the whole time, including when she was like touring around Singapore when I was like kind of taking care of her, but she was like actually taking care of me. So it was really nice to work with like women, like to kind of like talk to them and kind of talk about their experience, like when they share and like I kind of learn from that.
Yeah, I bet
And
it must be pretty
yes,
lonely if you're the only woman in training.
it does. I try to always be like part of the guys.
Yeah, but I don't think
Helps
that
with,
probably it's not the same though. Yeah.
yeah, it's very different.
Yeah.
Like like talking to girls is so much like easier, but like with guys, it's a different kind of thing.
And you said about ego, guys having egos. Was it just them not wanting to sell for you?
Yeah, they just want to keep looking so strong. It was like a whole, burial kind of vibe. Like one of the guys I worked with, it was a little bit of a burial vibe from him. He wanted to do like he just wanted to beat my ass out around the ring. And yeah, like full on burial mode, suggesting some stuff which was inappropriate.
Mm.
Like those yeah, moves that looks too sexual for you know, it happens.
Yeah, it shouldn't, but it happened.
Yeah. Like it
Yeah.
shouldn't. That's the sad reality for a lot of women.
But it's so unoriginal. I mean, that's when I think back now and look at that stuff. It's like, I mean, how unoriginal is it to do things like that? Yeah.
Yeah, but like back then there wasn't the speaking up movement. Like it was a lot of education that needed to happen, and it does. And like now it is a better space for women everywhere, I guess.
So you actually wrote quite a bit on Twitter about the speaking out movement. Um,
Yeah.
how early in your experience in wrestling were you? Did you start having instances of that happening?
One of it actually happened during like my first year of wrestling, like with the guy suggesting like, he wanted to do like this banana split move, which was like his whole body was like really close to like splitting my legs apart and just downright being super close. And I was like really, I was 18 at the time, so I came into wrestling with this super duper innocent kind of vibe. I was so innocent until wrestling changed everything.
Mm.
So like when he wanted to do all these things, I was really uncomfortable. But not many guys were involved in my match. So uh, yeah, like when I told people I was uncomfortable, they kind of like suggested to him to like change things up, and he was kind of unrelenting. So we finally managed to kind of like come up with a compromise, and that was fine. But like he also tried other things, like when we went overseas for a wrestling trip, and that was like what 4 years ago. It was like really early on. I would say that I've experienced all these things. Like it didn't matter to them whether I was like kind of one of the boys. Like I tried my hardest to be one of the boys, but in the end, I'm still a woman. So they just kind of try to take advantage of, like I wanted me wanting to wrestle more often and just wanting to do my absolute best in the ring. And yeah, the guys just take advantage of that. And they also take advantage of the fact that we when we speak out, like people will just kind of brush it off. I guess. I mean that's happened with one of the guys that was released, and he was caught up publicly by other people in the industry, not just in Singapore actually.
But I mean,
Yeah,
if you want to wrestle? What do you mean? What do you do? You can't speak up because where else do you go? You were
yeah.
trapped. You were trapped pretty much.
I was the only. Yeah, it's like the guys would say like, "Oh, we spoke to him, like things would change." But with one of the guys, I just guess it didn't really change because he just went around and kind of made other girls uncomfortable, and I didn't hear about it until more on the recent side. Uh, until like recently, then I kind of heard like the other things that he has kind of like done to make the other girls in the region uncomfortable, and I was like, this is it. Like I've had enough. So it's when I realized that I got to kind of share my story to prevent the other girls from the region, especially to kind of like experience such things, because it should not be the normal thing to experience. These kind
Yeah.
of things should be like a rarity. It should not happen in the perfect world, but it's not perfect world, so it should happen.
Yeah, but it's I mean, I work in a corporate job, and none of the things that I read about would be acceptable in any corporate environment, any professional environment. So it's broke my heart to see, to read all your story and the other stories that people shared. How empowering is that as a woman to see so many people come out and share their experiences?
It is empowering because like for the longest time I actually hid it to myself. Like I do want the girls to kind of like be careful of certain people and all that. But at the same time you don't want to kind of like tell it to everyone because you want to kind of keep up that the company's image, and you don't want to just ruin things for people, but at the same time you just want to protect the girls.
Mhm.
So it was like very difficult to kind of navigate through everything. But like yeah, it had to be done.
Yeah. No, I thought it was very brave of you to share your story and all the other men and women that shared their stories as well. It was quite it was a tough few days to read all that, but I hope 2020 is the year of change, and I hope it continues.
Yeah, this movement actually kind of helped a lot of people get things off their chest.
Yeah.
and to kind of let them know that people are listening, people are going to like kind of make choices to make wrestling like a better place, which I think it does happen. Like it is happening right now with a lot of people being so-called cancelled. I
Yeah.
don't get the
What's that?
the phrase that everyone uses, like 2020 is cancelled. Like I just don't get it.
I don't. I'd say I keep saying 2020's change. 2020 is the year of change.
Yeah, it is.
Cancel can whatever. I'm not a cancel person either, but it's just changed. People need to go away, and new people need to come in and show
After
the new way,
yeah,
the right way.
yeah, for sure.
All right, let's get back to your in-ring career. So when did you had some matches with Emi Sakura? How did you get hooked up with Emi Sakura?
So let me think if I'm getting this story right. Amy Sakura, I think she started Gato Move about the same time as PW started up. Yeah. I think she started out like the one in Japan, then she branched out to Thailand, which was maybe 6, 7 years ago. I want to guess. So she kind of found out I think she found out about SPW, and she was like, oh, she wants to work with the girls in the region to kind of like grow the standard of wrestling for like especially in the women's side in the whole of Southeast Asia.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that is kind of how we kind of got her in Singapore. I'm not fully sure. That was like not handled by me.
What was your early experiences like working with Emi or talking or just being around Emi?
Oh, she's so scary. Like just because of her legacy, it's like knowing that I'm gonna like wrestle her or even meet her, I was like, holy shit, I was such a mark. And I guess she hated it. No, but she's awesome. She's really helpful. Like I think I wrestled her about what maybe 4 years ago. So like with her, like I was really uncomfortable with selling, like with the voice, like bumping is fine, but shouting and all that, so uncomfortable. But Sakura-san loves to shout. So like during training, and she would be like shouting, I'll be like, holy shit, woman, people can hear you. We have neighbors in this building. Oh my god, that is so loud. And her voice just echoes throughout the training place, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how does she have a voice so loud? But it's amazing because she kind of like pushed me out of that shower to kind of shout as awkward as it was to shout a little bit. I was like, that really helps.
I can't remember who I asked it to, but I thought it was a dumb question. I was like, do you guys practice yelling and shouting? They're like, yeah, we do.
Because of Sakura. No, just kidding.
If you don't scream hard enough, she'll stretch you to make you scream.
She'll be like, more sound, more sound. And we're like, yes, Sakura-san. She'll shout at you to shout back at her.
But if you look at her training, the tree underneath her of the people she's trained, it's pretty amazing.
It is. It's frigging amazing. Like she started her career in 1995, and the amount of people she's trained, the amount of things she's done in the career, like opening promotions, the amount of like championship material wrestlers she has trained, up and coming students like Mei Shiruga. I loved the match with May and Lulu Pencil back in Eve. It was so fun to watch.
I think Lulu's brilliant.
She is. Like she reminds me of Hibiscus Me with her, her funny and fun antics.
Uh-huh.
I just like that kind of comedy. I love comedy wrestling, but not the really cringy ones.
Yes.
It's like the Mr. Bean kind of vibe of wrestling.
And no, but May as well. May is going to be a superstar. I mean, I think it's.
She's so cute. When I saw her, I just wanted to squeeze her.
I met her last September at Kurikan Hall. She was wrestling on a seedling show, and she told me that, hey, I'm worried about people taking me serious because I look like a little girl. And I'm like, just go out and hit people hard. They won't care.
It doesn't matter. Just whack them.
Is that what you kind of had to do too? I mean, you're not the biggest woman in the ring either. I mean, did you just go out there and start hitting people hard?
Oh yeah, I just give them like real stiff chops. I like to leave my handprint on people's chest. It's fun. I mean, not for them, but it's for me.
So my one of my favorite questions to ask people is, who's chopped you the hardest?
Ah. Hmm. I want to say Sakura-san. She doesn't give a shit. She just kills me in the ring every single time. And after that, she shouts at me. I'm like, yes, so sorry for whatever wrong I've done. And I hit her hard again. Boom.
Like,
And she
I don't even know what I did. Well, I don't know what I did.
like, I'm sorry I brought you to smell the durians. Oh, she hates durians. It's hilarious.
Oh, they smell terrible.
She says she loves it, but I'm like, I don't trust you with that knowledge.
There's a reason why durians are in the freezer at the store.
No, that's the wrong way to kind of do that, man. Durians are not meant to be in the freezer. I mean, unless the frozen one. But no.
Like the whole frozen fruit, like the whole spiky thing is in the freezer.
Yeah, that's so weird. I've only seen that in Korea because it's not like popular there. I was like, $100 for this fruit? Like, are you kidding me? I could get a fraction of the price back home in Singapore. It's insane.
They have those at Asian stores here in California too, and the freezer.
Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be in the freezer. It's because it's not so popular. That's why you have to keep it in there.
I guess. I was going to cut one open and hide it in my friend's house.
Oh my God. Do that. Your friend might like it. Who knows?
My friend might come and shoot me.
My ex actually likes it a lot. She surprisingly likes it because she's from France. Like a lot of like Caucasians don't really love durian. I mean, it's kind of a quiet taste.
Yes.
I was
yes,
shocked
it is. It's hard to get past the smell sometimes, though.
But it's easy. I mean, for me, it is easy.
I guess if you're bored around it, it's you can get used to it.
I guess so, but my little sister doesn't like durian, so it's like it depends.
Fresh durian on the street.
Oh, so good. You actually have to kind of drink salt water from the shell to kind of like help with the heatiness of the fruit. So good.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to try it again.
But you gotta have the fresh ones from Malaysia.
If I'm in Singapore, I will try durian.
Yes, you do.
I would love to. I would actually. Singapore is one of the places I absolutely want to visit.
You have to come here. Like next time we go to Japan, come down here too.
Fly on over.
Have amazing things. I mean, our airport has like free foot massage machines, so that's a great selling point, I think.
I'll bring you some bubble gum.
Yes. Like, what was that? There was this tube one with like a really long row of bubble gum. You just cut it off. I don't know. I gotta find it in Malaysia.
I'll put just a suitcase full of bubble gum. I'll bring it to you.
Yes. And then I'll do like the illegal bubble gum sales thing again.
You can have the black market cornered.
Yeah. Just within the roster, be like, guys, we can finally chew gum in the ring. Kind of like what the Americans do all the time.
Yeah. We look like cows sometimes when we chew gum, though.
I don't know, but it's like so cool. I don't know why we just. I kind of do that pretend gum in my mouth sometimes out of nowhere. I don't get it. I'm not even chewing gum, but like it just automatically does that whole chewing gum motion in my mouth. And there's absolutely zero things in my mouth. It matches. I have no idea.
Chew on your tongue or what?
No, on air. I don't know. It just happens. And I'm like watching back my video. I'm like, I look like an idiot. But that looks cool at the same time.
No, nobody knows you don't have gum.
In Singapore, they do.
Well, they think you're a bad girl if you're chewing gum in the match. That makes you a heel.
Yeah, but they're like, why? I guess most of them will be thinking it's like, so for the whole time she was not like biting onto anything in the match, and out of nowhere she's just chewing something. Like,
After
I
she
want
wins her victory gum, her imaginary victory gum.
yeah, it's so weird.
You should blow imaginary bubbles with your imaginary gum.
Imagine I was blowing like imaginary bubbles from the bubblegum shit. Like,
Have people pop? Have people try to pop it?
my cousin would actually pull out the bubble gum. He's a weirdo. He did that when we were chewing gum one time, blowing it, and like he just like instead of popping, he just put the whole thing. So the whole gum came out of our mouth, and we're like, "What the hell, dude?"
When I used to have long hair, I used to like blow bubbles, and I would get it like all over my hair. It was terrible.
Oh damn!
Just big
Oh
giant
no!
bubbles. Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah.
It must have been a really big bubble too.
Oh, I would put like a whole pack in my mouth at once and try to chew it.
Oh
And
shit!
blow the biggest bubbles I could blow. They were
How
pretty
are
good.
you able to chew? Isn't that like really really hard to kind of like have so much gum in your mouth?
Oh, your mouth gets tired, but yeah, you just chew it just so you can try to blow giant bubbles.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah. That's the weird American things. That's what I'm going to sell. If you're selling free massages, foot massages, I'm going to sell bubble gums as big as my head. That's what America has to offer.
Yeah, I kind of want to do that. Why didn't I chew gum the last time I was in America? Oh my gosh!
And it's not like this. It's not those little thin sticks of gum. It's like those like blocks of gum you got to chew. Those big fat ones.
Yeah, I'm gonna like dislocate my jaw from that.
Probably.
God.
So when did you first travel internationally to look for bubblegum and wrestle?
My first international match was supposed to be in Hong Kong, but in the last minute we kind of had to get visa. So that match did not happen, but it was still fun because I managed to hang out with Hiro Matsumoto
Ooh.
and we went to Disneyland. We managed to do a match in Singapore though after that. That same year in October. Yeah, it was like what? I wanted to say 3 years ago. I think. I think it's 3 or 4 years. I can't be. I'm bad with like dates and stuff. But yeah.
She seems like she'd be pretty intimidating too.
Oh, she is, but she's a. Am I ruining things if I say she's a total sweetheart? Cause she's
I
awesome.
met her at Minoru Suzuki store, and she couldn't have been a nicer person.
Yeah, she's awesome. Like we hung out in Hong Kong with two of my friends who actually traveled all the way to Hong Kong just for my match, which did not happen. So we actually just hung out and like ate a whole bunch of stuff. We were like kind of showing her the Hong Kong culture with just a bunch of Chinese people from Singapore. It was fun. But yeah,
Did she have like her big curly orange hair? Did she have that then too?
You mean the ramen hair? Nah. She had a normal straight hair.
Okay.
With was it a highlight kind of like pinned to her? Yeah. She had like add-ons.
So you got to wrestle like in Australia and stuff as well. What was it?
Oh yeah. I think I did Australia 3 years ago. Okay, so yeah, Hong Kong should be 4 years then. So yeah, Australia was 3 years ago. I got the opportunity to work at AEW, which has closed down since. So I did Perth a couple times.
How did that come about? How did that come about to go to Australia?
Oh Jesus Christ! I knew Andrew Carter from Facebook, and like one of our guys who shall not be named actually went over there before me, and he kind of worked his promotion for a bit. Then I don't know, like out of nowhere, I kind of had that opportunity to wrestle in Australia. I was like, yeah, sure, that's awesome, and it was fun. It was crazy awesome because like my first show there, I was in the same card as RVD. I was wrestling Katie Fox for the women title. It was like it was so much fun to kind of do like a little storyline, even like especially overseas. It's like it gave me the opportunity to do like a storyline. I'm like, hell yeah. So yeah, I got my ass handed to me after that match. Another chick, Roxy Riot. Cute me. He cute me.
How is it? How did the Australians take to you? Did they like you from the get-go?
Oh, they like me. I think I'm likable. I don't know. They do like me though, and I did what, three shows. Yeah, I did three shows. I appeared on like four with like promos and stuff, and it kind of helped with like growing my fan base a little bit because the fans there, they would like come up to me after the shows and kind of take photos and all that stuff, and I would make more friends from like the people in Perth, like the wrestlers, not just with the company, with other companies. It was great. I love it. I do
And
miss Australia. Fun.
you should go back. There's no COVID there, I guess.
But there is, I think Melbourne just went into lockdown again.
No.
I'm not.
How is the COVID in Singapore?
Oh, it's bad, I guess, but our community cases are low. So, what's our community cases recently? I think like recently we've kind of seen a bit of a spike, but we've gone into phase two, which means we can actually dine in at restaurants. Most things are open. The cinema recently just opened a couple days back. We still have like hundreds of cases every day, but mostly it's with the foreign workers.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's like I want to say it's pretty under control.
America's
Like,
a shit show.
yeah, I've been looking at the news. It sucks.
Yeah.
Like I just find it so weird that people are fighting over mask wearing and like their arguments for not wearing masks. I'm like, why? Why? Like just wear a mask for the safety of like you and others. And yet America, they're doing things like COVID parties, which is the stupidest thing ever.
Americans are so arrogant. It's terrible.
Why are they doing COVID parties? Why? People are trying their hardest not to get COVID, and then these people are like, let's get COVID.
Yeah, I don't know.
Aye.
People, not everybody is very bright. So you also traveled to America to wrestle as well, correct?
Yeah, I did. Which one was it? Oh shit, I did CWE 2 years ago. So yeah, it was fun. I worked with a lot of different people. First, we had a battle royal match, which was so awkward because I just arrived there and they just told me like everyone introduced themselves like ever so quickly, and I was like, shit. I'm trying my best to remember names, but I can't. I'm bad with names. I'm so sorry. And then they're all talking amongst themselves, and I'm like, this is awkward.
So how do these experiences come about? To like how do you get in contact with people to come like to travel to these places?
For America, actually, I'm friends with Christopher, who is actually the owner of CWE. So he actually kind of planned to have that show then when I was going to be in America. Kept asking me like, you gotta come to America, like you gotta do this show. Like I'm gonna make sure that, I'm gonna put on this show just for you. And I was like, oh my god, really? And so yeah, he actually gave me that show in a way.
That's
Which was
awesome.
amazing. You gotta work Amber Nova too.
Yeah, Amber Noah's really good.
Yeah, she is. She's amazing. I want to bring her to Singapore actually, if I can. If
So
it's like within our budget.
So how has your wrestling gotten better with you wrestling more experienced people?
Like it helps with like with getting tips from them and working with them, kind of like seeing how they do things. Then we, what do we do? Like hearing about their stories and like getting some insights from them on like what I should be doing or like how they've gotten to like where they are in their careers through all these things. Like all these wrestlers, they help me out a lot when I'm going through like difficult things in wrestling. I just can't reach out to them, and they are the absolute best in making sure that the next generation of wrestlers are like well taken care of. Like recently, I actually spoke with Shazza McKenzie, like when I was kind of dealing with the whole speaking out movement.
Mm-hmm.
It really helped. Like she's been so outspoken about it. It's amazing.
I've been able to talk to her before. She seems like a really amazing, positive person.
Yeah, she is. I don't get why people like throw hate at her sometimes.
People are jealous.
Yeah, they are.
Misery loves company. They want you to be as miserable as they are, I guess.
Uh, but
So
yeah,
I mean,
she's awesome. She's funny.
so I
I think
look at your cage match page, okay, and I and I see some of these matches, like some of the names you've wrestled, and it's pretty impressive. I mean, like Makoto, you wrestled Makoto in Singapore.
yeah. Oh yeah. I wanted to throw her to the chairs and she reversed it on me. I went through the chairs like a bowling ball with like the bowling pin. Damn.
But
And
she's so good also, though.
she is. Oh wait, good. I didn't
And
know how
like
to catch man.
you do, yeah. And like Riho, I mean, you saw Riho a few years ago, kind of earlier in her career before she became what she is now. I mean, and
I've and tagged with her in the past. She's she's one hell of a wrestler to kind of work with, man. It was so unnerving, like it was like so much better when I was tagging with her than I was wrestling her, because there was less pressure on me as a tag team partner compared to like facing her across the ring. I was like, shit, I'm gonna look absolutely shit compared to you.
were you surprised how successful she is in AEW?
I don't know. I was shocked to kind of like, how long it took for companies kind of to recognize them,
Mm-hmm.
because they're such big stars, like especially like after all the things that Sakura has done, and like Riho has been like killing it in Japan for like the longest time ever since she was like what, like a teen, like a preteen.
Preteen,
She
yeah.
started out preteen, and then like during her teenage years, she was like a massive star already. She's just becoming bigger and bigger. Yeah, it just sucks that it takes a while for them to kind of like get this kind of exposure, but it's amazing. Like I got goosebumps when I first saw them on AEW, Sakura-san and Riho-san. I'm like, oh my god, yes, woo! I'm so happy, and they were on AEW.
So is
Guys,
one of the American companies one of your goals to work for someday?
I do hope to get a contract somewhere, someplace. I do, but I'm not sure. Like, I just hope that I kind of achieve whatever I want from wrestling, especially like traveling around the world before I have no idea actually. It's like if I do get signed to a company, I do hope to be awesome. To kind of like be able to travel at the same time. But I do love traveling, and like working on the independent scene, it helps with planning your own travels. So if I do get opportunity to work for like a big company in America, it'll be great to kind of work in more countries that I've hopefully not wrestled in.
Yeah, because I mean, the Asian women are represented more than ever in America right now, which I think is wonderful.
Oh, it is. Like especially with Shimmer. I've seen their stuff. They have so many the Japanese women, or the Joshi wrestlers.
Mm-hmm. But
I
even like,
think
I mean, AEW's got Hikaru Shida, and like WWE has so many right now. It's even
yeah,
American people of Asian descent, that their
like
representation is
Charli
more than
XCX,
ever.
yeah,
Like Karen Q and Xia Lee's in there as well.
yeah, and Shotzi Blackheart.
Yeah, I think
I've
believe she's half
met
Filipino, I
Zaya,
believe.
yeah, I've met Zaya last year actually
Did
to
you?
try out. Yeah,
She looks like she would kill people if she wanted to.
she would. She scares me. But like who else was it? Reina Gonzalez. I think she's now rebranded as Raquel.
Uh-huh.
Oh my, she is so tall. She is like a freaking building. Just look up to her. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so tall. I can't.
So you've had some matches against some other women from Southeast Asia as well, like Gypsy
Mm-hmm.
and Crystal. What's it like to
Yeah,
get into matches with other young, hungry wrestlers that are from Southeast Asia?
it's so fun talking to them because we kind of started all on the same path where wrestling just didn't really happen in Southeast Asia until recently. So we're all kind of like figuring out like, oh, like what's the direction of pro wrestling in Southeast Asia. like for the future, and like we kind of exchange our knowledge, and then in that sense, like kind of like what we picked up from various people, we kind of like you know uh throw it back and forth each other, kind of like exchanging all this information. So
That's good.
it's like
That's good to hear that it's it's a sisterhood, not a competition.
it is. I guess you just want to try to make it like there's so little of us. There's not enough like female wrestlers in Southeast Asia, so we all got to kind of be close with each other. We have to like unite each other. We have to make sure that we do absolute best. Because without like if like a few of us leaves, it's like oh my god, what division is there? It's not like a female division in a company. It's like the female division in the whole of Southeast Asia. But there's just so little women. I think there's like only about like 10 of us in Southeast Asia actually.
Really, and you
Like,
guys all wrestle each other.
yeah. I've wrestled Jutsi several times, and I've wrestled Crystal like I think we calculated it recently. We've been in the ring for like 9 times together. So we always have this joke that we're gonna fight forever.
Well, hopefully you're fighting in a big company someday against each other.
Hopefully, I think that'll be fun. We
Or
actually did our tryout match together.
oh, did you?
Yeah, I wrestled both Gypsy and Crystal, like one-on-one matches. It was fun. It was exhausting, but it was fun.
Where was that at?
The WWE tryout like last year in China.
The one they did in China. Okay. What was that experience like?
Oof. Um, well, I do like China. It's weird because I'm Chinese, but I can't eat the Chinese food there. So I actually kind of lost weight with all the tryout stuff. Like it was intense. Like it's a lot of like um what's that word? CrossFit training. Yeah. It's
So
a
they
lot of CrossFit kind of training with medical balls, with like the body bags and all that.
so what was the pressure like before you went there? Did you pressure yourself to perform?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like we were all really stressed out, especially the ones from Southeast Asia, because I mean these opportunities kind of like once in a lifetime, and we are all the pioneer batches of like wrestlers to actually do the very tryout. Like no other wrestlers in Southeast Asia has had such a big opportunity with a big company like that. So we have to kind of make sure that we put our best foot forward to show that even though the wrestling scene in Southeast Asia is still so young, this is what we can do. Like this, we're like representing the rest of wrestling in Southeast Asia. So we have to do our absolute best, and I think we kind of did. They do like some of us.
What kind of feedback did they give you?
Uh, hmm. Actually, I didn't really have much time to kind of ask them because there was like so many people just going up to the trainers that in that time when there's time for me to kind of ask. I kind of got, you know, uh, like other people kind of cut me through to kind of ask the coaches for feedback and all that. So I just didn't have to. I didn't get the opportunity to really ask them. Like whenever I was so close to asking, someone would just kind of cut in and be like talking to the coaches, and I'm like, damn it. And then we have to head back to the hotel because we're all running on a really tight schedule, and we had so much media to do.
Who were the coaches that were there?
Oh, Matt Bloom was there,
Mm.
Robbie Brookside,
Mm.
and she got released. Um, what's her name? Oh shit, the female coach that got released from WWE's Black Wednesday firings. Uh,
Was she part of the Straight Edge Society with? Was that the one? Her?
yes,
I can't remember her name. I'm gonna kick myself. But yeah, I know who you're talking about. Okay.
yeah, but she got she's awesome to look to kind of talk to, or that little conversation that we had. She's ever so helpful. And the female coach was also there. Ref Jazz. who worked Ring of Honor prior to WWE.
Oh, Sarah Del Rey.
No. Referee Jessica.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So like the China talents, the prior like WWE tryout China people, they
Mm-hmm.
were there. The ones that got signed. So Zaya Lee, Big Boa, Rocky, and I think there's three. Wait, I think there's a fourth guy. Ki- Shit.
How did WWE know to contact you?
Oh, they actually kind of like did a bit of they actually came to Singapore like back in April, or was it March? I think it was March. Like in that same year, in March they came down. So we had Crystal down and Riho with I think we have the Russian guy, Locomotive also. So they
Mm-hmm.
kind of came down to Singapore, then they went to Thailand, then they went back to the WWE, and they kind of let us know, like, so there's going to be a tryout in July, and not all of you guys will be picked for it, but for some of you that will be picked, we'll kind of contact you guys and, you know, just make sure to sort out like the visas and all that stuff. So we found out like, I when did we find out? We found out a month before the tryout, like in June, like some of us. Actually, I think some of us actually kind of knew from after the match, after the show,
Mm-hmm.
but we just didn't want to kind of confirm anything until we have the official notice from WWE.
Didn't want to
It
set
was
yourself up for letdown, huh?
Yeah, because it happens.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I found out from another wrestler, like who I found out from Crystal actually, that I was part of the tryout instead of Andrew, who's my coach
Mm.
and boss. Like it's funny because I'm supposed to find out from my boss first, not from my friend from overseas.
Do you think being a woman was a bit of an advantage because there's so few in Southeast Asia?
I'd say it definitely helped for sure. I mean, I do know some people are like kind of upset over the opportunities I've had over the years, like with wrestling in so many different countries and all that, just because there's not a lot of women in the industry, as in Southeast Asia. But at the same time, it's like we've really worked our ass off to kind of get to where we are. So it's kind of like a 50-50 thing.
Yeah, you earned it.
Yeah,
So
we've made our mark.
so before we wrap up, I do want to ask you about one more match that you had.
Oh,
You got to face Hana Kimura once.
yeah, I love her so much. She's amazing. I only knew her for like 2.5 days. But she's amazing. I miss her.
So tell us about those 2.5 days because I don't really care about the match. I don't care about how wrestling was. Tell us about your experiences with Hana Kimura.
She is the absolute like sweetest person in the world. Like from the first time we met, like she was a big star back then. Like she did Wrestle One. She was so big. Like my friends in Singapore, when they found out about that match, they were like so jealous. They were like, "Oh my god, you're gonna meet her and all that." And I was like, "I guess she'd be cool." And when I met her, she was really cool. Like she just talked to me like as though like we were sisters, and I kind of treated her like my little sister. But she's actually the same age as my little sister. So it was really nice. And it was like I recently kind of got together with my ex-girlfriend Dan for that trip. It was like I was just kind of telling her about my ex-girlfriend and all that, and especially like how LGBT community in Asia is not really widely accepted. Like she was so accepting about it. She just loved the fact that we were all like being open and friendly. And when she met my ex-girlfriend too, she was just absolutely amazing. She tried her best to talk to my girlfriend with like whatever English that she could. She helped me a lot in the match because I was in a match with 3 Japanese and I couldn't speak a lick of Japanese. She made sure that I was okay. Like she made sure I was okay for that match. That she really took care of me, and like she came into that match too with so much more experience than I do. So she was really taking care of me, like not just in terms of making sure that I was okay in the match, like with like the stuff that we were gonna do in the ring, just to make sure that I was like okay, like with all the nerves and all that.
Mm.
Like I just miss her so much. Like even with our little back and forth message on Instagram, like you could just see that she just loves people. She's just ever so positive. She's always smiling. She always wants you to know that you met her. And I was like, I'm still such a small star, and like she just took that time to even like reach out to me and all that sometimes.
I
So
think
yeah,
I think she could have been the biggest star in the world.
she would have like in such a short time in her career, she has wrestled in two of the biggest venues in the world, like Madison Square Garden and Tokyo Dome. Like she could have done so much more in her career if like it didn't this terrace house bullshit hasn't happened. It's like reading all this news about it. It sucks so much.
You said you've had experiences with bullying and stuff in the past too. I mean, yeah, I couldn't imagine feeling helpless like she felt. I don't know. It's hard to think
Like,
about.
yeah, she must have felt a lot more hate. But she got like hundreds of messages like from haters on a daily basis. Like I'm fortunate enough I'm not at a level of fame to kind of get people's attention. But yeah, I just wish that, more things have been set in place to protect people like her and others who have like come before her, who have taken their lives the same way as she has, just because she felt that there was no other way out. It's terrible.
Yeah. So let's kind of wrap it up here a little bit.
Yeah,
Alexis, where do you see yourself, your future in wrestling?
I hope to move to somewhere in Europe where I could wrestle in that part of the world. But so far, I've wrestled in most of Asia. I just have Japan, China, and Korea where I haven't hit up. Yeah, and I'll be like done with Asia. I could take it off. So I'm hoping to move to Europe so I could wrestle more internationally, like within Europe and America and all that.
I think you do great in England, like for Eve or somebody like that.
I hope so. I don't know. I'm so stressed.
What
I
I
will
hope to
still go
see someday
to UK.
is you and Crystal tag teaming against Mei Saruga and Bailen Aki at Ichikaya Chocolate
Ah,
Square. That would make my day.
damn, Aki.
He's the best. He's the coolest guy.
He is. He took such great care of us when we were in India for the TV taping. So good.
Yeah. He took care of me when I was in Japan, so I appreciate it too.
Oh, Jesus Christ, he takes care of everyone. He's taking care of himself next. He's not taking care of Misuga. The best bros.
I think I'm gonna have her on the podcast soon. I'm hoping. We're working on that right now.
Yes, you got it.
So Alexis, where can we find you on social media?
So I'm on Twitter under. Okay, I have no idea what's my Twitter handle. I know
Alexis
my.
Lee XY.
Yeah, that. I have no idea. All my social media have like different handles. So my Twitter is Alexis Lee XY, and my Instagram is Alexis_frigging_Lee. And
Alexis
I think
friggin' Lee.
yeah, because I'm a Lee. I'm proud to be a Lee.
Are there many Lees? Are there many Lees in Singapore?
There are.
I'm kidding. I'm making a joke.
No, there are, but like it's great because both my families are Lee, like my mom and my dad's side.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
I'm surrounded by Lees. And like I think my Facebook page is Alexis Lee Independent Wrestler. Just because.
So you brought up something I wasn't going to ask you about. I'm going to ask you about it now. I hope you don't mind. Being part of the LGBTQ community in Asia.
It was so scary. Like
What?
when I came out, I was so scared actually.
So were your parents more mad that you came out, or were you a wrestler?
Honestly, I have no idea.
That's a terrible question to ask, but
Because I actually didn't really come out to my family. Like I just posted photos of me and my girlfriend on Instagram. And I did it. And like that was like my coming out, I guess. Like my parents kind of like thought so that I have a girlfriend. Because it is scary, like with Asian family. Like it is scary to kind of like confirm such things. But like I guess they know now. Like after we broke up, I guess they know now that I was in a relationship with a woman. But
How
they're alright
accepting
with
how
it, I guess.
accepting is it in Singapore?
It depends. Like Asian culture, we mostly sweep like uncomfortable things under the rug.
Mm,
So it's kind of like under the rug now. Like occasionally it gets brought up, and then we kind of like move on to the next topic really quickly.
mhm.
It's a 5 second thing. It's like it comes out like, okay, but okay, next thing. So I don't really know how they feel about it, like fully feel
I'd
about it.
just rather not talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Just accept
My,
it and
my
not talk
family,
about it.
yeah, but I guess my family's kind of cool. Like since they don't kick me out of the house or anything, I mean, I still live with my parents, so it does help, I guess. But like, the general public is rather accepting. I haven't had like any negative kind of reaction. I've actually got some people kind of like saying that, just kind of coming up to me and saying that it's so amazing that I came out uh to be an inspiration to some of these people who kind of like stalking me on my social media and find out that I'm bi, I guess. So it does help, like, with the whole changing the world thing.
Yeah, you're accomplishing your goals. I mean, what you talked about at the start today
A
is that,
little bit.
yeah, but you have. I mean, I'm sure you've got more goals you want to
Hopefully.
complete, but you've
Oh
done
yeah.
so much. You're a trailblazer. I mean, you are, and
Yeah.
you should be proud of yourself.
I'm lucky. I got such a great platform.
You create your own platform. I don't think you're lucky. I think you worked hard and earned it.
Also luck, in a way.
You,
I mean,
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm a believer. You create your own luck. You know nothing is lucky. You have to be you get to put yourself in a certain situation for that to happen. So
I hope so.
you know,
No, I really do though.
I'm gonna end this interview arguing with you.
Yeah, we'll let the people decide if it was luck or not.
We'll do a poll. Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna agree on that. They're gonna agree on it. Luck. I got lucky.
No,
Because how many other talented women like doesn't get this kind of platform?
you put yourself in position, or we're gonna agree to disagree because you put
Yeah,
yourself in position to do it.
we're gonna put a poll out there.
All right, Alexis, we've talked for over an hour, and I really appreciate your time. And again, I think you're a trailblazer. I think when they start talking about people in Southeast Asian wrestling, I think you're going to go down in the record books as one of the trailblazers, as one of the people that established the scene. And again, very thankful to have you on the show. You're like I said, you're a trailblazer. You spoke out the speaking out movement. You've an LGBTQ member. And just the courage to be a wrestler in a country where female wrestling is not the norm. I think you should be real proud of yourself, and I think people should pay more attention to you.
I'm just gonna say it's luck.
All right,
But
Alexis.
really, I'm thankful for it.
Thank you so much for being on the show. And when I'm in Singapore, I will hit you up, and we'll go have a couple of you'll get some durian and some beers or something.
Yes, we're not gonna mix those, but yes, we're gonna have durian, and we're gonna have beers and margaritas and shot. I guess.
You'll have to show me. You'll have to show me, and I'll bring the bubble gum. You bring the shots, and we'll be good to go.
Yeah, we're gonna mix the shit up together.
Some bubblegum shots, yeah.
Yeah, and pouring the shots. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be a next like Twitter thing. Bubblegum shot. Yeah. I hope to see you soon in Singapore when travel resumes, like finally.
Or hopefully we'll meet in Japan, and I can watch you wrestle in Japan too.
Hopefully, who knows where I'll be in Japan.
Come to California. Come wrestle out here. I can get you booked on shows.
So I do want to do America again. I need to sort out my driving license first. I don't have a driving license, so I need a driving license before I do an actual tour in America, because I can't drive for shit.
What side of the road they drive on in Singapore?
Left side? Is it? Wait, let me check. Yeah, left side.
So it's like Japan.
Yeah.
Would be screwed in America because it's the other side.
I guess I'll be cool. I'm ambidextrous, so it's fine.
I'm afraid to drive over there in Japan and stuff because I'm like, I'll run into somebody.
Really? I don't know. But I would love to drive overseas if I could get my driving license first. So far, the only driving I've done is like Mario Kart. So that's not helpful.
Yeah, you can't hit things and get mushrooms and stuff.
Yeah, I can't throw bananas at people. I will get caught by the police.
Alexis, thank you again so much for being on the show. I think we've talked about everything you could talk about, so I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.